The Xbox parties. What are you talking? Is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points?
I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce.
Greetings. Hope you're all having a nice Wednesday. Hope you all had a nice Tuesday night. Hope you all had a better Tuesday night than I did. 2-4. My two favorite bets, cast too. But I was just an idiot with that Georgetown bet. I like Georgetown plus 8.5 a lot. Decided to split it in half and take the money line. Just an overall degenerate move. And when you make degenerate decisions, you get degenerate results, which is losing money. Yeah, had I not split that Georgetown bet in half, actually would have been all right. I would have went 2-3, and my two biggest bets would have hit. I would have still finished in the red, but it would have been pretty much a break-even night. But no, I had to take the shot on Georgetown money line. I was on the live stream. I was feeling it. Hoya's outright. I was typing it at all caps on other people's shows. Sometimes you just let your adrenaline get the best of you, right? We've all been there. Prop Ever had a losing night, so things are back to normal. Prop Ever's no longer hitting at 90%.
Eat my asshole, okay? Maybe you had a losing night because you had to friggin' bring up my hot streak, you dickbag, okay?
I tried not to.
You don't do. That's just something you don't do. You don't shit on a man's merch, and you don't bring up a hot streak, okay?
Shit on a man's merch.
These are things you don't do, okay? And Jackson Hayes, I made that whole speech about him yesterday. This asshole got one fucking rebound in 9 minutes in the second half yesterday. Just a real prick bag. So, yeah, that was the difference between winning and losing. It's a fine balance.
Sean Morrow says, Sauce has been getting smoked lately. And Sean Morrow's a cool guy. I think I've had 4 or 5 losing days in the last, 24.
Yeah, I don't understand that, Sean. Kyle's been killing it lately.
Yeah, things have been going really well. But, yeah, that's how it is, man. One losing night.
Prop Beaver Voochcast.
Did he? He actually looked terrible in the first half. So damn, I shit on your play, then I make this speech about Jackson Hayes. That's just karma right there. So
just so I know, moving forward, if Prop Beaver's on a hot streak, we just pretend he's not. We don't say it.
Just shut your goddamn mouth again.
You don't talk about a pitcher in a perfect game.
That's the fake. I do it all the time. I purposely text Toast because I know he gets triggered. When the pitcher is a no-hitter, I'll text them and be like, hey, so-and-so is a no-hitter, just purposely.
Did you know this no-hitter?
Yeah.
All right. We got NBA. Toast is on a flight, I think. So I don't know what we're going to do at the end. Probably won't do any college basketball. I'll read off a couple bets at the end, but no Toast. If you want to, we went through all the college basketball games last night at midnight. So if you're looking for college basketball stuff and want to go watch the midnight stream from 16 hours ago, good stuff. Excellent stuff. Let's talk NBA, though. First one, Milwaukee on the road in Charlotte. Talked about this one last night. The question here is, what's going on with Milwaukee's defense? Obviously, in the last game, pretty much all the starters rested, right? There was no Giannis. There was no Dame Lillard. I believe Brook Lopez even sat. They put out the B team and got their asses beat by Oklahoma City. So that data point is meaningless. But the 3 games before that, those are meaningful data points. And what they're showing is the Bucks defense seems to be falling off a cliff here. They haven't played a good defensive game in about a week and a half now, the Bucks. Other than that, I think it should be cruise control here for Milwaukee. Charlotte's been, I guess, okay defensively, but this Bucks team in their last 10 meaningful games, they've been scoring. They have an offensive rating over 121 in their last 10 games, excluding the Oklahoma City game when everyone rested. So even though Charlotte defensively is somewhat formidable, I still think Milwaukee could score. The only thing I put Bucks up for me. I considered betting this at 8.5 last night. At 9.5, it's a no way Oh, is it really 10.5 now?
I believe so.
Holy hell.
Yeah, 10.5 is consensus, yeah.
So, yeah, at 9.5, I didn't think there was any value left. At 10.5, no shot. But I think Milwaukee should win this game comfortably. If it wasn't for the last 4 games, the fall off of the Bucks defense, I probably would be down to lay 8 or 9 points here. We know Charlotte can't score without LaMelo Ball. That's not new. You've heard me say that probably a dozen times. Their offensive rating without LaMelo Ball falls off a cliff. So I probably Milwaukee probably wins this comfortably, but the defensive fall for the Bucks, I can't bring myself to lay a big number on the road. What about Matthew?
I didn't actually bet this one, but whenever Chris Middleton is out, Giannis assists goes up pretty decently. His last 14 games without Chris Middleton, he's averaging 8.5 assists. On the season, he's only averaging 6, and you can get over 6.5 for plus 122. I've lost I think probably 4 straight bets when I bet Giannis assists, so I need a little bit of a break, so I'm not betting it. But that's where I would go in this game with Chris Middleton obviously being traded.
Prop Beaver, so I'm looking at the screen here. Under Beaver, you put at the dam. Are you saying this is where you live?
I didn't update it to my Twitter that I haven't tweeted off.
You haven't sent a single tweet yet.
I don't know what I want my first tweet to be. It's
so
really
Prop Beaver
special.
does have a Twitter now, but he hasn't sent his first tweet.
Listen, it's gotta really send shockwave to the Twitter community when I do.
Everybody's been talking about.
Exactly. Yep. I mean,
everybody's talking about.
I heard those Twitter Spaces are all just about what am I going to tweet. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all everyone's talking about is what is Prop Beaver's first tweet going to be?
Exactly. So big stuff there. Before we get to that though, I mean, we do have to talk about what we're playing in this ball game. We're going to be talking about Miles Bridges over 12.5 rebounds and assists. I know the spread is large. It's obviously looming quite large here. It keeps getting bigger, but it's a bit of a weird spot for the Bucks. Their stars got rest last game. That offense could cool off a bit as a result. And I wouldn't be really shocked if Giannis or Lillard sit here due to lack of talent in this Hornets lineup. Meanwhile, we got Bridges, who's been an utter cash cow without LaMelo. He's sitting 8-1 this season without him, averaging 15 rebounds and assists, specifically 6-0 when Mark Williams is active in those spots, averaging 16. And he's even 4-1 in 10-plus point losses, meaning that he hits them in the blowouts anyways. He's averaging 6-plus potential assists, 11-plus rebound chances in all but one of those 9 contests. With those marks this season, 12-5 to the over. And what really made me hop on this one is the fact that we saw Micic get hurt last game. In that game, Bridges had an unholy 18 potential assists, essentially taking over as the point guard. If Micic doesn't go here, Bridges is going to have an ungodly amount of opportunities to distribute against a Bucks defense that's 30th in defensive rating over their last 5 games. Before facing an OKC team that pulled their starters due to murking the Bucks bench, we saw the previous 10 to 13 power forwards to face Milwaukee cash their rebounds plus assist line. So I like the value there. Going with Bridges over 12.5 rebounds and assists. Is the blowout potential scary? I still got to play it.
Chris?
I don't have much to add here, Kyle. I agree with a lot of what you said. I wanted to get to the number last night. Couldn't do it for 2 reasons. You mentioned both of those. Giannis and Dame both being projected to not know if they were going to play or not. And then you mentioned as well. So Chris Middleton got traded. I think a lot of people probably knew that already. Yep. Kuzma's now on the team. Get well soon, Chris Middleton. That has to suck to be playing in DC for the rest of the year. But outside of that, I was leaning. So I want to go under here, Cal. Let's talk about the total a little bit. I'm not laying this many points, right? But I lean under, right? Because we know the Hornets can't score. They're bottom 5 offensive rated team, top 5 still defensive rated team, even though the Washington Wizards came in there, absolutely lit them up the other day. I think they scored like 120 something, hit like 17 threes. But they play slow, right? The Hornets have been a double-digit dog 7 times this season. They're 5-2 against the number, 6-1 to the under. Those games only averaging about 213 points. So I lean a little bit more towards the under. But as you mentioned, and I said this on my stream last night as well, the Bucks the worst defensive rated team last 5 games. Yeah. Like the worst, 30th. So I like
one of those data points is bullshit, though.
I agree. OKC one is. But
it's basically it was 3 really bad defensive games in a row. Is what it was. 3 terrible games in a row.
So, what better way for your defense to get better than playing against a bottom 5 offense, right? So that kind of lends itself to under here. I think that speaks more to under versus over here, especially with the Bucks. 4 straight losses. If they take this game serious, they should win. They already lost to the Charlotte Hornets. The season series is what 2 they lost 1 game outright by I think it's a 4-point favorite, and then they won the next one, but they didn't cover either spread. Charlotte's 2-0 against the number, so I guess I lean under, and I guess I lean Charlotte plus the point still. But I would want Micic in, like Prop Beaver just said, because he is still listed as questionable as well.
If
so,
you're
those are my thoughts.
If you're playing an under, you definitely timed the market right. This shit was 216.5 last night.
Mm-hmm.
Next game. Cleveland, Detroit. Cleveland on a back-to-back, getting beat by the Celtics, although they did try to make it interesting there in the second half. I didn't end up placing a bet on that game. I should have, man. Then under would have been sweat free if I placed it.
Played 4.
What'd you say?
I ended up playing 4 bets in that game.
Oh shit! How'd they do?
2-2. Because remember, I told you I was like, Cal, I'm gonna be on Cleveland, and they
I remember you were on
shot
Cleveland.
the ball with a blindfold on. Yeah, I played him first half too. Might as well had a blindfold on. Evan Mobley looked like he never was gonna touch an All-Star game in his life, and Donovan and Darius Garland, same thing. I think both of those guys have been in the All-Star game. Not on last night's performance though. But so those went 0-2. I also talked about Donovan Mitchell points prop over. That was a winner. And then because the game started off so slow, typically you can get like a really good third quarter over because the offense is going to pick up. Both teams are shooting less than 25%. So I took third quarter over at halftime. It was like 58.5, and they ended up scoring like 65. So I went 2-2. So I was still losing because the first half and the full game was bigger bets. But end up going 2-2. I never play 4 bets in the same game, but I did yesterday. Continue, Kyle.
Yeah, like 5 minutes into that game, the score was like 6-4, and I was like, why didn't I bet this fucking under? Like, it would have been sweat free. I could have turned the game off with my under. But anyway, we got Cleveland on a back-to-back. They travel to Detroit. Obviously, the optics of it, you got the Cavs coming off a huge game against the Celtics, immediately flying to Detroit. The optics of it is, you don't want to play the Cavs in this spot, right? Like, I can't play the Cavs in a spot like this. They've been pretty profitable in this type of spot this year. They're actually 6-4 against the spread on 0 days rest, 8-2 straight up. So the idea that you can't play the Cavs here because they're on 0 days rest, it's not really backed in fact. They've actually been profitable to play on 0 days rest this year. Also, the Pistons, I believe, are 3-5 against the spread with the rest advantage. So the Pistons haven't been profitable when they're playing teams in situations like that. So I don't know if there's any truth to being a bad spot for Cleveland. I will say, specifically, if I was to place a bet, in this one, I would isolate the Pistons offense because if you remember, these two teams played about a week and a half ago, and the Cavs just locked Detroit down. They couldn't score. The offense looked terrible. Now you got the Cavs coming off the Celtics game, and Detroit, since that Cavs game where the offense looked terrible, they've been scoring. They have an offensive rating over 120 in their last 4 since the Cleveland game. So you got this matchup just happened, right? And then since then, the Pistons offense seemed to have figured something out. And now they're going to get Cleveland at home flying in on a back-to-back. I'm not willing to fade Cleveland's offense because I think it's very possible they could just light it up. But I think the Pistons offense will do something. So if I was to bet this game, I didn't. It would be Detroit team total over. In fact, let me check an updated line on that. Let me refresh the page real quick. Nope, not NFL. NBA team total. Pistons 115.5. So that's exactly where it was last night when I made the YouTube video. So it looks like this market really hasn't really moved. It's Detroit team total over 115.5. That's what I would be betting here if I was to bet this game. I don't have a bet in this one. Matt?
Yeah, I do have a bet in this one, and this is one where the market moved against me. I took Jalen Duren, 12-plus rebounds. You can actually get that right now, plus 140 at DraftKings. They're pretty aggressively different than the rest of the market. Like the next closest book is plus 116, so just something DraftKings sees. Regardless, I still like to play a lot for Jalen Duren. Good matchup against the Cavaliers, who have been a good team to target for center rebound props. It's all because Jared Allen is not taking anybody away from the rim or anybody away from the restricted area. So a missed shot, the center's generally there to grab it. You mentioned they just played like 10 days ago. He had 16 rebounds in that game, and he had 23 rebound chances. And I mean, he did miss it the first time these two teams played. That was literally the first game of the year. You can't really take much from that because his role was kind of hit or miss at the beginning of the year. But if you just look at games, even where he's had like 18 rebound chances, and he had 23 last game. He's had 12 or more rebounds in 19 of his last 27 games. He's done it in 4 straight, and in 7 of his last 8, again, in which he's gotten 18 rebound chances. Obviously, there's a correlation there. The more rebound chances, the more rebounds the player's going to get. But I'm just saying that I think the rebound chances are going to be there. Again, 23 last game. The way that the Cavs and their offense, the center's going to be around the rim. He's going to be able to collect the rebound. So Duren rebounds, I really like. And yeah, I mean, I liked it at plus 115 is what I bet. I'd definitely take it at plus 140.
Duren rebounds.
And that's where I say,
Chris? That's when we do in the office when someone says that's like code for like I didn't listen to what you said and I don't care what you have to say. That's like an unwritten joke here at the office.
Oh man, I hate that response. Don't do that to me, Kyle. So Kyle, I'm gonna ask you a question, so you can't undo me. What are your thoughts on the full game going over? Like,
well, I know
that. Hold on, real quick. So Donovan Mitchell has been downgraded.
Yeah, questionable.
Right? He is questionable, right? If he plays, do you think we get a full game over here? You think Cleveland can score 120 on the second leg of a back-to-back against Detroit with what they've been doing defensively? Because they've been giving it up.
I certainly think that they're capable of it. In my opinion, the reason that my pick in this game would be Detroit team total over instead of the full game over is I think that the variance on that side is wild. Of what we can expect from the Cleveland offense. I'm not going to be surprised if they score 140. I'm also not going to be surprised if they struggle a little bit. Let's not act like this offense looked good yesterday. They looked like absolute shit last night for most of the game. So coming off the Celtics game on the road against a really motivated division rival Pistons team who, like you said, has actually been playing decent defense, I think it's very possible that Cleveland struggles offensively. But like I said, I'm not willing to put my money on that because this is probably on a season-long basis the best offense in the NBA. So I'm not willing to fade the Cleveland offense. I'm also not really willing to back them at this price either. That's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I would go out on a limb, Kyle, and say Detroit's defense has actually been pretty bad recently.
Oh, it fell off a little bit.
Yeah, it did. Like giving up 132 to the Hawks without Jalen Johnson and like the Bulls, I had their team total under.
It's but if you rewind back 4 or 5 games, they were playing some decent deep. Yes, It has fallen off the last few. Yeah, but I mean, it's a good spot for the Pistons.
It is, and they're dogs again. And I feel like their defense typically plays a little bit better when they're dogs. Against Dallas, they were dogs. And they only gave up 102. But I feel like the Cavs going to bounce back and be able to score too. So when I was looking at it last night, Cleveland is 13-5 in the first half to the over. Detroit 7-1 to the over in the first half. If they have the rest advantage, the Cavs have allowed 8 of their 10 opponents to go up and over their team total when they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. And we know that the Cavs probably going to bounce back and be able to score the basketball. I think this game's going to be played with pace. I know you probably looked at that, Kyle. Both of these teams are. Cleveland's been playing a little bit slower, 13th in pace, but Detroit's still top 10 in pace over the last 5 games. So I think we see a little bit of pace here for Cleveland. I would probably lean first half over the full game just because Detroit, weirdly enough, like slows the game down, especially when they're playing in Detroit. Like it comes down to like a snail's pace, it feels like in the fourth quarter. And they're like one of the better defensive rated teams if you just isolate the fourth quarter specifically. Cleveland potentially running out of gas. So I'll lean first half over. I didn't bet it. I really want to be involved in this game though, Kyle. That's why I'm on it for so long. I really want to bet in this game, but I'm not going to force it, especially without knowing the status of Donovan Mitchell. I kind of want to play this game though, but I haven't.
Next.
That's the you mode, not me.
Next up, Spurs Hawks. I bet this one. I got a super high total. I did get the best of the number though, because I do have a couple points of closing line value here. I got the over at 241.5. So, I mean, this over kind of is pretty self-explanatory here. So we're talking about 2 of the fastest paced teams in the NBA. In the last 10 games, I believe they're both top 5. So very fast-paced basketball game we should see here. And then if we're talking offense versus defense, on the Hawks side, defense looks like shit the last few games. Yeah, they were playing some decent defense there. Rewind a week and a half. There was a stretch where the Hawks were playing some decent defense. Not trying to take that away from them, but I mean, do we really expect the Hawks to sustain high-level defensive play over the course of an NBA season? I mean, if you followed the Hawks in recent years, you can't exactly hang your hat on this defense, and we're already seeing it fall apart. I think it's their last 3 or 4 games we've seen the defensive ratings like plummet, like just drop like a stone. So this Hawks defense is starting to look like shit again, and more importantly, they can't protect the rim for shit. I mean, they cannot protect the basket. They're actually 28th in defensive efficiency at the rim in the last 10 games. Spurs love to score on the interior. They just added De'Aaron Fox, who's making his debut with the team. That hasn't changed, right? Still Fox debut?
Yes, should be his debut.
Just make sure that, I mean, these injury reports are crazy. Just making sure I didn't miss anything in the last couple hours. So, yeah, Fox making his debut with the team. He's another guy that likes to get into the lane and take shots, those little 8-footers he loves. So, yeah, the Spurs are going to score in the Hawks. No question. The Spurs are going to score in the Hawks. So you're going to see Fox and Wemby run high screens, and the Hawks aren't going to be able to do shit about it. On the other side, though, man, this Hawks team is scoring, and the Spurs defense, until they show me they are a good defense again, I'm not trusting them because if you remember, for most of the season, the Spurs were playing some good defense. 11 games ago exactly, and I know it's 11 to the T because I made the graphic last night. 11 games ago exactly, we saw this Spurs defense fall off a cliff. It was the game that Jeremy Sohan, that was Jeremy Sohan's first game out. So the Spurs were playing solid defense all year. Jeremy Sohan gets hurt. Spurs defense goes to shit. That was 11 games ago. Jeremy Sohan has now been back for 6 games. Where is the defense? It is not returning. So we're talking about 11 games now where the Spurs defense looks terrible. Until the Spurs defense shows me they're back, I am not betting on them. We should see a fast-paced game. We should see a lot of scoring. I know 241.5 is a high number. I know 243 is a high number. I think we're going to see up north of 250 in this one. So over. Oh, well, and as far as the side, the Hawks are, I believe, 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 as underdogs, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 as home underdogs. Been very profitable to back Atlanta in these spots recently. Go ahead, Matt.
Moda, before you say anything, you go. And then you go. Okay?
You're right. Good point. Well, hopefully 25 of those 243 points come from Victor Wembanyama because that's what I have. I was able to get a good number on this one. I got plus 100 right now is minus 115. At this point in time, I'd honestly probably take the over 25.5, which you can get at minus 105 at FanDuel. I would just rather take the point in the better price. It's a really good matchup for Wemby, and I get that like he's really cooled off. I mean, he had a stretch where he was insane. Then after that, he missed this number in 8 straight games, just really didn't shoot well. Has kind of come out of that a little bit. He's gone over this number in 3 of his last 5. Obviously, that's a tiny sample size. The reason why I like Wemby is just because of the matchup. Now, obviously, like De'Aaron Fox could throw a wrench into everything, and depending on how that partnership works between them, maybe things are a little bit different. But he's going up against the Hawks, who, as you mentioned, not a great defense overall, but the ways in which Wemby scores lines up perfectly for this Hawks team. I mean, 42% of his points come from the above-the-break three-pointer. The Hawks are the worst defense in terms of allowing points via the above-the-break, literally 30 out of 30. Next up, 33% of Wemby's points come in the restricted area. The Hawks are the 4th worst defense in the restricted area. That's what? 33 plus 42, that's 75% of his points. Just quick math, no big deal, right off the top of my head, come from above the break in the restricted area. It's perfect for Wemby. And then in terms of play types, like play type number 1, transition. Hawks are the 7th worst transition defense. Play type number 2, pick and roll man. Hawks are the 10th worst defense guarding the roll man. And then like last time these two teams played, this was back in December when in the middle of Wemby's hot streak, he put up 42 against them. Now, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to put up another 40 burger, but I do think he could score 25. And yeah, I would still take it at minus 115 or the 25.5 at minus 105.
Wemby over.
Math.
Chris, let me guess. You're on the Hawks.
Nah, absolutely not. I'm not. But I think I would lean Hawks though, just because it's the first game for Fox, right? We don't know how this is going to look.
I feel like they're just going to run those same pick and rolls. If you saw on,
I agree.
They've been talking about the pick and roll numbers between Fox and they were talking on ESPN. That's how
I saw that a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. So I would lean. We just saw Trae Young hit a game winner the other day in Detroit, and it's a very short-handed team right now. I mean, like Capella potentially could get traded, while we're doing this show. Same thing for Bogdanovich, no Jalen Johnson, but they pick up the pieces and just keep going. So I would lean that way. I'm not betting on San Antonio as a favorite. But I'm with you, Kyle. I like the over. I should have bet it last night. I didn't. I had all the same analysis you said. You had literally in my notes. I said lean over, total rising 2. Both teams top 5 in pace. Both teams top 10 in defensive rating. In my opinion, bringing Fox in only helps the offense, even off the jump. It only makes them better. They're probably going to play even faster. Last 5 games, San Antonio bottom 5 in opponent transition frequency, dead last in opponent transition efficiency. Only way is lean over. Should I still play it, Kyle, 243 or no?
Actually, I'll show you right now. I think it should be 246.5. So I'll give you the exact edge on it.
We got some edge. Okay.
I didn't hook up the totals yet. Never mind. Scratch that. Can't give it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I still like it over. I think you just said it probably ends 250 something, and I agree with that. The other thing I looked at was Trae Young. Didn't bet this one either. Up and over his assist prop. Actually, one of my favorite player props today. Did you look into that, Moda? I looked into it. He had 27 potentials earlier when they played. CP3 and De'Aaron Fox are absolutely insert an adjective that Prop Beaver would say that means bad right here. You know, so versus teams bottom 10 in assists allowed, in top 15 in pace, which San Antonio is 13th in pace. Trey has gone up and over his 10.5 in 9 of his 12 games. He's averaging 13.5 assists in this spot. So bunch of pace. We're thinking the total's going to go up and over. I still think Trey Young's going to be able to find this guy. So up and over his 10.5 assists, and I still lean full game over. Didn't bet either one of them.
A Prop Beaver adjective for bad would be like river rat. You'd be like, there are river rats at this or something like that. It's hard to keep up. Next game. Memphis, Toronto. We're now up over 10. I mean, come on. Has this gone too far? I understand. Not. It's because Pirtle's been ruled out.
That's why I jumped on it last night.
So I still would be a little hesitant, dude.
So, well, last night when you get to 7, right? Because I figured that, right? The RJ Barrett, is he officially ruled out yet? I know it's concussion protocol. He didn't play last night.
I think everybody's ruled out on the Raptors.
I'm pretty sure
bro.
Barrett's out.
Okay.
I think
no, not everybody.
I think Podol, IQ, and Barrett are all ruled out for Toronto.
Sweet. Is Shed playing?
Is the shed open?
If
the
shed's
open, we're rocking.
Shed is open tonight. That means the defense is there. This Raptors defense we've all become enamored with. The Shed's open.
We all have.
Oh god.
Who's protecting the rim? Kelly Olynyk? You want
Shed.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh, Shed's playing the 5.
Yeah. So probably clearly you can tell that Shed is equivalent to Sensible, right?
Yeah.
Like these are
Shed is like a Kawhi Leonard, prime Shaquille O'Neal hybrid.
He's an all-knowing being, and he plays all 5 positions on the court.
Moda's like, I had the same comp. All right,
Props Madness, that's what's the comparison, right?
Either you guys want to bat lead off on this one?
I bet it. I bet it last night. I bet the 7. Just real quick. I'll go.
You go for it. You go for it.
Just because I kind of figured Pirtle was going to be out. He was dealing with a hip pointer yesterday. Didn't think he would be there to what Prop Beaver just said. Like, who is going to protect the rim? I know there's a couple injuries on the Memphis side as well. Desmond Bain, Brandon Clark. Desmond Bain's out. Brandon Clark, I think, is questionable. Conchar is questionable. They could potentially get Marcus Smart back and Vince Williams, which makes this Memphis team even deeper, right? And they've been just covering numbers, 7-3 straight up in there, 7-3 against the number in the last 10 games, 7-3 to the over offense is top 5 in the NBA. And to Cal's point, I do think that you look at the numbers, Toronto's been really good. They covered that late line last night too. I think it ended up closing at 6.5. And they are 8-2 straight up, 8-2 last 10, 7-3 to the under before last night. However, this is second leg of a back-to-back, no rim protection. We know Memphis wants to get downhill, and I think that they'll be able to score. I think we see Toronto's defense take just a slight step back in this one, just because I think Memphis, with the rest advantage, comes in here. I think it's also third game in 4 nights for Toronto. So I did jump on this one early. I got the 7. I think it's a double-digit one.
I just want to add something to your point here and just throw a little tidbit to the crowd. Memphis, it used to be a trend way back when, about 2 years ago, but they are still dominant against the East. 14-2 against the spread in their last 16 games against the Eastern Conference. They love playing the East. Would you still lay the 10.5 now with this Grizzlies team?
I don't think so. I've been burnt way too many times with that, probably. But I will say this. So I'm glad you mentioned this. This is also on my notes. Some teams don't play in certain venues well, right? Kyle, we talked about this earlier. Phoenix, they haven't won in Atlanta since I was like a teenager, right? It's just whatever reason. They've lost like 14 straight games there. Certain teams don't play well in Utah, right? Utah is a home dog. We know about that, right? Some teams don't play well in Toronto. Memphis plays really well in Toronto. They've won the last 4 straight. They've won 4 straight, covered 4 straight, and they, for whatever reason, play defense.
Was Shed playing in those 4 games?
Shed played in 2.5 of those in a possible. So nah, just kidding. He wasn't there. But yeah, they play well in Memphis. I mean, they play well in Toronto. To what probably was saying about them playing against the Eastern Conference.
All right, so Chris got the Grizzlies at a better number. Matt, what are your thoughts on Shed?
Shed's a beast, obviously. I didn't have an official play in this one. I know a lot of people like a lot of people are on Zach Edey. I think he's worth a sprinkle for a double-double. You can get like plus 250 on that. I mean, who's protecting the rim as Chris or someone mentioned? Chris, Prop Beaver, someone mentioned it. Not that Edey's the kind of guy who's like really going to feast, but like, can he get 5 buckets and score 10 points probably? And then from a rebound perspective, he's been good recently. Obviously, it's like hit or miss with the Grizzlies, but he's gotten 10 or more boards in 4 of his last 6 games. He's actually every game he went over, he had 13 or more. And in one of the games he missed, he had 9. So he's been good recently. Or no, that's right. That was his points. That was for double-digit points. For rebounds, he's hit it in 4 of his last 6, and the minimum he had was 11 in the games he went over. So it's a good matchup for him. Plus 250 is decent odds. Like, he's been pretty good recently. I didn't bet it, but that's where I would go.
All right, so
80 double.
look, I'm just going to share my thoughts here. Everyone remained open-minded.
Please do.
The Raptors in these spots on 0 days rest, they're 6-2 against the spread. They've been very profitable. They're 2-6 straight up, so they don't win these games. They cover them. So I'm already liking the Raptors a little bit there. But if we're talking about a matchup perspective, there's one thing the Raptors have done very well during this little defensive surge we've seen from them, and that's defend.
Get out, stop transition. That's what you're about to say.
Yeah. Stop the fast break.
Not happening tonight.
This team, what, you think they're tired?
Get it.
They don't get Shed doesn't get tired, man. He's going to see extended minutes now with quickly out, and that's the thing. It's like the Raptors have been shutting the fast break down. Number one, that's what Memphis does. Is they get out in transition more than any other team in the NBA. So they're on the road in Toronto against a Raptors team that's been excellent at stopping that. And who are the pieces that have been stopping it for Toronto? It's not Pirtle. It's not Quickly. It's the guys that are going to be out there. Scotty Barnes, the Shed man. Shed's open. Put the Raptors up, man.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if you were gonna go under or
no. Raptors plus 10. I don't have this bet, but I kind of want to. Not to mention after this. Now they do have 2 days off, so I'm not implying that this is a look ahead spot or anything. But after this, Memphis has Oklahoma City, at Phoenix, at Clippers. So 3 games that are much more important than this Raptors game after this for the Grizzlies. Next game.
Right.
I'll put the standings up.
Okay.
I don't want to get accused of not putting the standings up. I lost the lead of my division last night. I'll own it. We can look at it real quick. Give Helms his day in the sun. I'm taking that lead back tonight.
Second. All right, let's see. There we go.
So blow it up for the screen. So we got, I dropped down to third. Well, actually, I'm tied with Prop Beaver for second. There's some battles going on in the divisions right here. Tinker down towards the middle. Look at the Kookaberries division, man. Battle up top. So, yeah, there's a lot of green on the board. I just didn't want to be accused of cherry picking and only showing the standings when I'm in first. I've dropped down. I'm tied for second in the Swamp Monsters division. All right, next game.
What a loser.
They're coming from the guy who's too much of a coward to participate in the league. Wizards, Nets. Good God, what is there to say?
Good God.
What is there to say about this game? The Wizards are on a winning streak. I don't really have anything else to add.
I would say part of that winning streak was Kyle Kuzma.
Stop
finally not
it. No,
playing.
it wasn't.
I would say part of it was him not shooting like an absolute fucking disgrace, and now he's gone. So
I don't want to talk about this game.
I just wanted to add that.
Can someone else talk about this game? I don't want to.
Yeah, I do have a play in it. Does anybody else have a play in it?
Go ahead. I got a play in it too, Moda. I just took the under.
I also have one.
Oh,
Let's all go at the same time, and the audience
Come
can
on.
choose which
Yeah.
one.
How do you not have a? This is the game of the day.
Yeah,
All right,
what the
all
fuck, Kyle?
So you guys all have a play. I'm going to enjoy a piece of nicotine gum. You guys have
Nah,
the
I mean,
floor.
if you don't care about real ball, that's fine. All right, I'll start us off here. Jeez, for the love of God. Okay. Let's talk about a real ball player here. Jonas Valanciunas. What a guy, right? J Val is a man who has never heard what defense is. I mean, it shows every time he's out there on the court. But if you give him some minutes, he's going to grab your rebounds, and that's what's really important here. I'm going to continue to target Jonas Valanciunas in these competitive spots, basically 8 points or less on the spread without Alexander Sarr. I don't love the offensive matchup for him like I did Charlotte, so I'm not really going to play a double-double here, but I do like the value for him on the glass. Without Sarr, 6-2 to the over this season, averaging 12 rebounds per game, 19 chances, 26 minutes, and minutes is all J Val needs. With just 22 plus this season, he's over his last 8 of 10 on the year, and with just 15 plus rebound chances, which is what he's hit in the majority of those games, he's over his last 8 of 12 overall, averaging 12, including his last 5 of 7 on the road, averaging 13. Now, Brooklyn hasn't been the greatest matchup for centers this season, but they've been far easier as of late. Before the Rockets faced Brooklyn on a back-to-back, we saw the previous 7 of 9 centers to face Brooklyn go over the rebounding line, so I just simply can't pass this up. On top of that, You trade away Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma's actually been really putting in the effort on the glass lately. The efficiency in the shooting numbers, wow-wait. But in terms of the rebounding, he actually has been putting in effort on the glass. You take him out of the lineup, and there really isn't that much competition for rebounds in the starting lineup. So love that number at 10.5. If you're going to play the 11.5, I would still do that for 0.75 units. But yeah, love J-Val today.
Modi, do you agree with Joe-Val's rebounds?
I didn't look into that one. Who am I to doubt Prop Beaver, the rebound king? So sure, yeah, I'll co-sign it. I have Corey Kispert, 15 plus points. Couple looks, or the couple reasons why I'm on this look. Obviously, no Kyle Kuzma. He's out. That helps a lot. But the most important thing for Kispert is the matchup. All he can really do is run the floor and shoot from deep. He scores a majority of his points in transition. The Nets are the 5th worst transition defense. He scores the 2nd most of his points. The play type with the 2nd most is spot up, and obviously those are correlated. He's running the floor and shooting. Either they track it as transition or spot up, but the Nets are the 4th worst spot up defense. And if you look at games in which he's played teams that are just in the bottom half in terms of guarding transition, he's scored 15 or more points in 11 of 19 games. And I should say the 15 plus points was plus 150. Let me make sure that's still there. Plus 155, actually. You can get plus 155 at FanDuel. If you want to play his main line, it's 12.5, but obviously everybody knows I think the way better value in this case is to take 15 plus. And then if you look at games against teams in the bottom half without Kyle Kuzma in the lineup, it's only been 5 games. Obviously it's a small sample size, but he's gone over or scored 15 or more points in 3 of the 5. One game he went under, he scored exactly 14. So just would have given us the hook there. But I really like the matchup for Corey Kispert. I like the added usage without Kyle Kuzma. So this is one that I did bet. This was an official bet for me.
Compelling stuff.
Thank you.
Chris?
Under to, I think it was 18. This went down, but then it came back up. I'm not trusting Brooklyn's. It's super simple, Cap. I'm not trusting Brooklyn's offense, even against Washington, which Washington is 20th in defensive efficiency last 5 games. Like, they've been playing a little defense and rebounding the basketball. You subtract Kuzma, the offense should get worse. So I'm not betting on Brooklyn's offense. I'm also betting on Brooklyn's defense, though. 2nd best defensive rated team over the last 5 games. Washington is still the worst offensive efficiency team over the last 5 games. So it's a super simple cap for me. You also got Brooklyn playing at the slowest pace. Washington actually slowing down in pace as well. They're 10th over the last 5 games on the full season. They're still 4th. So yeah. And then you got Brooklyn, a couple trends as well. Brooklyn is they played 9 games on the second leg of back-to-back, 8-1 to the under. Totals averaging about 211 points. So yeah, I'll take under here. Remember, Brooklyn team total under was a strong thing. I'm not betting that specifically against the Wizards, but I do think that you lean on the under here. Also, Washington, 99 offensive rating versus top 10 defensive teams on this full season. So yeah, I took under to 18, I think it was.
So let's move on to the next game, man. Bender's funny. He said clearly some people can't afford a caps lock key. That's why they can't afford the caps lock key. Next up is Miami, Philadelphia. I have a bet in this game. And okay, first off, can't say enough about the people of Philadelphia. Just such a good, wholesome folks that it's just real trustworthy, honest, kind people. After what they did for me last night, I appreciate them. Everybody in the city of Philadelphia except Joel Embiid. Modi, did you watch last night's game?
Guy sucks.
Actually, no, I did not.
Dude, I don't care if Embiid had a 30-point triple-double. Philadelphia was significantly worse when he was on the floor. I mean, I was so frustrated. Philadelphia -1 is one of my biggest bets of the night, and they got it. But if Joel Embiid didn't play, they would have won that game by 16 points. Like every time Embiid came in, he had a 30-point triple-double. He was like -14, and Maxey was like +18. It was like the Sixers take a lead. Joel Embiid comes on the floor. The Sixers give the lead back to Dallas. Then Embiid comes off. The Sixers go on a 12-2 run and get the lead back. Embiid comes back on. Dallas takes the lead again. It's literally how the game went. They were just a significantly worse team when Joel Embiid's on the floor. That being said,
why was that, Kyle? Why was that? Is it?
I
Like,
mean,
is it,
dude,
was
he
it
looked.
defense or?
Yeah. I mean, he looked slow. He looked out of position. There was one play in particular where I literally rewound it, so Prop Beaver could see, where he tried to make a down court pass, turned it over. Dallas came down, shot a three, missed it. Embiid missed an easy rebound. Dude just jumped up and took it over him, missed a layup, got another offensive rebound, then passed it out. Dude drove in and scored on Embiid. It was just like such an uncoordinated effort. It's his first game back. I'm not trying to turn this into an Embiid bash session or anything like that. But the whole point of that was to tell you Joel Embiid is not playing in this game, which means we go back to the red hot Sixers here. I got plus 1.5. Keep in mind, if you bet last night's game early, like I did, you covered. And that's now 7 covers in a row for Philadelphia. They were 6-0 against the spread. If you look right now, they're 6-1 in their last 7 because that line closed at 4.5. But they covered the opener. So hopefully they cover the opener again. Now, when I placed the bet, there was a lot of injury question marks. It looks like a couple of them have not bounced my way, particularly Paul George. He was listed as questionable. He's been downgraded to doubtful. Looks like we're not going to get Paul George back, which is fine. He hasn't been playing during this Sixers hot streak. I do want Eric Gordon out there, though. So if Eric Gordon is ruled out, maybe I got a little bit unlucky here. I still think he could win. Miami's been pretty bad coming on a back-to-back with the travel. So I think Philadelphia is the play. I also like Philadelphia team total over. But like I said, I might get screwed a little bit if Eric Gordon is ruled out. Probably won't get any closing line value there. So I'm on the Sixers plus 1.5.
I liked Paul George assist. He's probably not going to play, so I don't really have anything else in this game.
Chris?
Yeah, I was looking the other way, Cal, but it's not strong enough for me to actually bet it. The only reason I wanted to fade the Sixers is because of the spot. Granted, they've been at the crib, but this is 6 games in 9 nights, no rest. That's been a fade spot all season. Same thing happened with Houston. That was the spot for Houston yesterday as well. So that's why I was looking. I'm not putting my money on Miami though. We talked about Miami and Chicago yesterday. 2 teams I'm not trusting. Still got all that stuff going on with Jimmy Butler. I'm cool with laying off of them. And I know that they have to travel in this game, but losing to Chicago the way that they did, which is so hilarious to me, to give up 133 points to Chicago. But I'm not betting the game. I'm on the sideline. No need to waste people's time. On to the next.
I'm good here. I have no interest in this game. I don't know what the hell the Bulls are anymore. I don't know.
You know what the Bulls are, Cal. They're a team that shoots a bunch of threes, and if they make them, they score. And if they don't, they don't. They're like the Brooklyn Nets, but with better offensive players. That's what they are. They can't rebound. They can rebound, but they don't have a lot of size. So yeah, I don't know what to do with the game either. So when I looked into it, this was my thought process. How do you lay this many points with the Timberwolves? It's been, I think, December the 13th, the last time that they covered as a home favorite. I think they're the least profitable home team. It was the Kings earlier this season. Then they fired Mike Brown. They got a little bit better at home. But I want to say they're 4-17 against the number as a home favorite laying points. I mean, they were just laying points to the Wizards the other day and lost the game outright. After that, they were laying points against the Kings. Bounce back spot for the Timberwolves. Nope. They lose the game outright again. So not that Chicago, because I can't bet on Chicago. Not that Chicago is good, because they're not. And it's like this season they've been really bad in this spot. If you look at Chicago on the second leg of back-to-backs, I think they're like 0-4 against the spread if they're unrested on the second leg of a back-to-back. Big win yesterday, having to travel as well. I think this is also 3rd game in 4 nights for them. So that scares me a little bit, but I can't lay points with Toronto. This is, with Minnesota, they're 19% ATS percentage, 4-17 against the spread. So yeah, I will say this: Timberwolves as a home favorite, laying double digits is typically an under spot. But who's betting Chicago team total under right now? Not me. So
I did last night.
I did. I told you I did on Saturday against Detroit. So yeah, I'm staying far away from this game. In my opinion, it should go over, but I'm not betting it.
Prop Beaver is on the screen, which means he's loaded. He's got ammo in his chamber.
I mean, when are they
Is it a Rudy Gobert
when are they
over
gonna
assist
have
prop?
some goddamn respect for
It's
my
points.
boy? Like, this shit is getting absolutely crazy right now. 12.5 points. 12
Wait,
and a
so
half
you're saying
points.
that the odds makers are disrespecting
This should be
Gobert.
at least 14.5. I mean, I got this at plus 102 on FanDuel this morning, which is just crazy to me. Dude's on an absolute tear right now. He's cleared the mark his last 6 to 7 games, averaging 14.4 points per game, 8 field goal attempts. It's only the last 2 games, really, where Randall's out. So with both Randall and Dante out, we're essentially looking at the same T-Wolves offense as last year, except now we're even taking out Karl Anthony Towns, a high-usage player. He now has 8+ field goal attempts his last 5 or 6 games. We look without Randall, he's hit 9+ field goal attempts in his last 6 or 7 regular season games going back to last year. 22-8 in his last 30 at home with 8+ field goal attempts. He's averaging 16 points per game in these spots. Now we look this season with 9+ field goal attempts. He's 7-1, averaging 17 points per game. I know that the spread is big, but if you look at his hit rate and volume, very similar in wins by 10+ at home without Randall going back to last season. Also, for some reason, I have no clue what the deal is. This dude, Rudy Gobert, loves bowling out against Chicago Bulls. It's actually his most profitable team in terms of production. He's cleared the mark. His last 10 of 11 matchups against them, he's averaging 18 points per game. And the fact that Chicago, if you just look at the defensive matchup, they funnel shots to the rim. They also allow really bad efficiency at the rim, a high efficiency. And right now with 4 guards on the floor, they're playing at an unholy pace, and I love this one. Honestly, I wish I bet it for 1.5 units early this morning at the plus 102, but at the, I think it's minus 105 on DraftKings. That's just crazy. So I would still play it at the 1 unit. Yeah, love it.
Modi.
I didn't have an official bet on this one. As a lean, I was going to give out Rudy Gobert points, so I don't have anything else to say that Prop Beaver didn't already say. It's a good look.
I'm tailing Prop Beaver.
You guys are all taking Gobert. You're all tailing this?
Can I just address a comment real quick?
Yeah, I know
Kyle,
the one. I don't think he
we-
speaks English. I don't think he speaks English. Just the guy LJ. I don't think he speaks English.
Okay.
Next up, Warriors Jazz
He was able
in
to
Utah.
type in English? Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Maybe he does speak English. I think he's just an idiot. I thought the first comment was like typed incorrectly. I thought he might have been. You never know. Could be a slowie. Warriors Jazz in Utah. Look, I'm not going to give a ringing endorsement for the Jazz here. There's going to be no Colin Sexton in this one. Lauri Markkanen's listed as questionable. But, like, what are we doing with the Golden State laying more than 2 possessions on the road in the elevation? Have we not watched Warriors basketball in the last couple months? They're not a good team right now. They're not a good team right now. Yeah, getting Draymond Green back, we should see the defense come around, but offensively, this is not a good team. I felt so lucky to cash my Warriors minus 2.5 ticket against the Magic at home. The Magic are dreadful right now, and I had to sweat a Warriors home win against them. I don't know. It's almost like the line doesn't make sense. Why is this? Utah has actually looked okay. I believe they covered 2 in a row. Since getting their pieces back, they actually look okay. This is a team that historically is much better at home in Utah. What is this line? Shouldn't this be like 3? 2.5 even? Why is it 6.5?
Because Lauri Markkanen's not playing tonight.
Oh, it's confirmed?
No, but me and Modi are both probably pretty confident about it, considering we bet Walker Kessler over rebounds. And yeah.
So I put Jazz up for me. I if Markkanen doesn't play, I get it. I still wouldn't lay 6.5 even without him, though, to be honest. I mean, Golden State is not good right now. So Jazz or pass.
Modi, you're the guest, so you could start off. I'd like to let the guest start off if we're on the same play. But yeah, just to elaborate, Kyle, I do think Markkanen's not going to play. I mean, trade deadline's looming around the corner. He's had his back issue bothering him. His production suffering right now, which is only hurting his price. I don't think there's any reason for him to play right now.
I also don't think he's playing, but they also can't trade him because he signed his contract. When he signed it, he's not eligible to be traded. Not that I think I think that matters. Anyways, I'll actually let you take the Walker Kessler one because I have another play in this game. The price has just been coming down from what I bet. So admittedly, I might just be missing something here, but it's Jordan Clarkson on the points plus assists. I bet it at 23.5 at minus 105. Right now, you can get over 21.5 at minus 120 or 22.5 at minus 110. So obviously, I didn't get the best of number here, just a CLVL. But I like the look. Basically, the logic here is no Colin Sexton. Now, Jordan Clarkson has yet to play a game this year without Colin Sexton. So we don't have any data off of this year's team. What I do know is that basically split minutes. They almost never play together, and they occupy a lot of the same role on the team. Like they both kind of are like the slasher guard type guy. And I also know that last game when Colin Sexton got hurt, Jordan Clarkson set a season high in minutes with 35. And if you just look at games where he's played between like 28, like basically plays at least 28 minutes, he's gone over the 22 and a half number that you can now get in 9 of 11 games in which he's played, again, at least 28 minutes, which is probably what I think, like maybe even 25 if we want to set that as the floor. It's 11 of 17 games to the over in which he's played 25 minutes. And that's what I think he's going to play with Colin Sexton. Sorry, I was blanking on his name. With Colin Sexton out. And if Lauri Markkanen is also out, that hurts the assist probably, but it just helps the point. So it kind of cancels that out. The matchup against the Warriors isn't amazing, but it's not terrible. Like they're the worst team in the NBA guarding the non-restricted area of the paint. They don't allow anything in the restricted area. They just funnel everything outside of that. And Jordan Clarkson scores the second most points on the Jazz in that area of the floor, but the only player above him is Colin Sexton, who's obviously out. So that number is probably going to go up for Jordan Clarkson. So yeah, I took him on the PA. Obviously, I got a worse number here, so the market disagreed with me, but I still like it.
Clarkson over. If Clarkson, for whatever reason, is unable to go tonight, you know who to look at, right? Sense-a-goat. Chris?
Real quick, I agree with everything you said, not laying points with the Golden State Warriors. Isn't this the first leg of a back-to-back for the Warriors? I want to say they play the Lakers tomorrow. So that's the divisional matchup.
On TNT.
And the Lakers have beaten them, twice already this season? Both times in Golden State? So, yeah, I'm not laying points. Here's the reason why, though, Kyle. In recent form, Golden State has played really well against the Jazz. I remember cashing a ticket. I think it was like the game before the All-Star break last season when they had to go to Utah. It was second leg of back-to-back as well. They went in there, absolutely cleaned up this Utah Jazz team in Utah. So offense is just like played really well. They are 4-0 against the spread the last 4 trips to Utah. We always talk about like teams playing well in certain venues. So I don't know. I'm with you though. The Jazz defensively is just, I don't know. I would want Lauri Markkanen in, and I probably would take the points. But yeah, I'm not touching the game. I see this Jazz team like really dry up offensively, and Golden State is playing, I guess, a little bit better defense as of late. Now getting Draymond back, so it's a tough game to cap. But I agree with you. I lean plus the points.
Saturated said never go full S thought. Next game.
I did not speak.
I
saw your graphic, you dirty slut. Okay, so the reason why I like Walker Kessler, and I guess Modi likes Walker Kessler, I'll speak a bit on his behalf. So since Quinton Post became the starting center of the Golden State Warriors just merely 3 games ago, we have been seeing opposing centers do treacherous things to them on the glass. In just 20 minutes, we saw Goga Bitadze get 14 rebounds on them. Mason Plumlee, 6 rebounds in 15 minutes. Nick Richards had 16 in 24 minutes on them. And Isaiah Hartenstein, 18 and 31 minutes on them. I mean, that's just ungodly. And to make things even worse for Kessler here, Markkanen just got added questionable after playing a slew of games. I don't really think he's going to play in this one here. Without Lauri, this is a guy over his last 6 to 7 games, averaging 14 rebounds per game, flying over this total, and 24-plus rebound chances. With 20-plus chances, he's over this line in 11 straight games, and he's averaging 15 rebounds per game on his Gobert shit. If Steve Kerr was an absolute menace with the lineup changes, this would have been a 1.5 unit bet for me. This was the first thing I bet last night. I think that Kessler's going to absolutely dominate on the glass here. So yeah, I really do. I like some Walker Kessler tonight.
So Chia Betts is in the comments, says Beavers fire me up on this one.
I like me some Cass tonight.
Chia Betts is plus 5.3 units in the league this week. He's killing it.
If Chia Betts is fired up about it, then I'm even more fired up about it.
Chia's on a heater right now.
Yeah, there we
Next
go.
up. Oh, I'm good. You guys can go.
That's it.
I will say these are the worst things in the NBA.
Pelicans, Nuggets are pass.
I'm glad. Now go ahead, guy. Go ahead.
I like Denver minus the points in the last one, and I didn't bet it. Wish I did. Honestly, I probably lean towards Denver again. But Aaron Gordon questionable. I don't know. The straight pass for me. I have no interest in betting this shit. I don't like the back-to-backs in the NBA. I also hate these. The same exact game again. I hate that. I think it's so stupid. So I have no interest in this.
I just think it's cool that we get to this part of the slate, Cal. We both like just pass because I feel the same way. Next one.
Modi?
Well, I have a bet here. I have a bet that everybody's probably going to hate. Definitely. It's Zion Williamson, 6+ assists. Not a hit rate play for those people that like betting off of that. He's only gone over this number in 5 games this year. There's a couple of reasons why I like it. Number one is the most important thing is the matchup against the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a team generally that you want to target for assist props. Now, normally it's like a normal traditional center assist prop. Like Yves Missy had three assists last game against the Nuggets. And this time I think it's going to be Zion. The way they play defense, like they got cooked by big guys at the beginning of the year, and they just didn't let that happen anymore. So they become way more aggressive trying to get the ball out of guys' hands, not let themselves get beat off the dribble, which is why they've allowed the most assists in the NBA, 30 out of 30 in terms of assists allowed. So Zion missed this last game. He had 5 assists on 8 potential assists. We're hoping for more than 8, but he still got, he hooked. He still got right there. And prior to that, 6 of 8 players with a similar playmaking style to Zion Williamson hit the over on their assist prop. And Zion, he's only played 14 games this year. He's only played 4 games against teams in the bottom 10 in terms of assists allowed, one of them being the Nuggets. He's had 6 or more assists in every other game. 7 assists against the Mavericks, who are 20th in assists allowed. 6 assists against the Jazz, who are 26th, and 9 assists against the Bulls. 18 potential assists, who allow the second most assists. So the Nuggets are the only team that allow more than the Bulls. It was plus 115 this morning. It's now plus 105. I would still take it there. I'd still take it at plus 105 on the Zion assist number.
Yeah, so Prop Beaver, you saw that, right?
Yeah,
Valanciunas is on the Kings
CLV
now.
and everything.
Gone.
I am sickened.
It doesn't matter.
What happened?
You're back at Valanciunas just got traded to the Kings.
Gone.
I like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe I like that bet. You bastard.
Yeah, but you don't lose. It's just voided.
Yeah, but his hard work isn't voided. He can't get that time back. I hate when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell I was doing this morning. Maybe I was on the shitter fucking pushing one out and really focusing on that. You dick.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that you lost your focus from that personal time.
Okay.
Next up is Phoenix, Oklahoma City. I have a bet in this game. It's got 2 points of value. I like it. Oklahoma City team total over. I got it at 119.5. This Phoenix team, they want to. Well, there's no Kevin Durant. So what I'm saying is based on Phoenix's full season numbers. So who knows if there's slight differences with or without Durant on the floor. One thing is certain, they're a worse team without him. Certainly on the defensive end, their defensive rating drops significantly without Kevin Durant on the floor. Their offensive rating drops as well. But I'm looking specifically at the defensive side of the ball here for Phoenix. A 121 defensive rating in their last 10 games without Kevin Durant. It's been terrible. Oklahoma City, they've had their problems on the defensive end, but offensively, this team has never really slowed down offensively. When Oklahoma City's not playing their best, we've seen the defense do this a little bit throughout the year, but offensively, this Oklahoma City team's been pretty consistent. And then on top of the fact that we have a great offense at home against a bad defense, you have the added element of Oklahoma City's going to want to run here because this Phoenix team is much better when they play in the half court. They actually have a top 10 defense in the half court. They're 9th in defensive efficiency in the half court. So this Suns team has a very specific strategy. Set up the offensive run the half court offense, set up the defensive run a half court defense. It's a nightmare matchup. Oklahoma City's going to take that away from them. They're going to get out and run. And another thing the Suns are struggling with is turnovers. In the last 10 games, they're bottom 10 in the NBA in turnovers, dead last in the last 5 games. Oklahoma City, the best defense in the NBA, ripping turnovers, which leads to even more fast breaks and more uncomfortable situations. How about that for the Suns? So it's just a bad matchup for Phoenix across the board. Oklahoma City should be getting out and running. It's at 121.5, by the way, now. I don't know how much value is left at that number. It would still be my pick, though. So I'm not saying like, oh, don't touch it at 121.5. I'm just saying like, I don't know how valuable of a bet it is at 121.5. I got it at 119.5 last night. Matt?
Yeah, I didn't bet this one. The Royce O'Neal look is decent without Kevin Durant. His point prop is 10.5. He's gone over and technically only 5 of 10 games on the year, but he missed it in the first 3. He's also hit it in 4 straight games without Kevin Durant. He scores 60% of his points via the spot up, just catch and shoot. That's all he does. Stand in the corner, catch and shoot. And the Thunder, as good of a defense as they are, they funnel shots to the corner, and they'll leave guys like Royce O'Neal wide open if they don't respect their jump shot. And the Thunder allowed the 6th most points per game to spot up shooters. 4 of 7 guys, similar to Royce O'Neal, have hit their point prop over, including Royce himself, who scored 11 points last time these two teams played. And that was another game in which Kevin Durant missed. I like his 3-pointers, but they don't currently have odds out on his threes. So there's literally nothing there. So I don't have a bet in this one. It would be Royce O'Neal, but yeah, I didn't bet it.
Royce or pass?
Yeah.
Chris?
Royce or pass?
Nothing here, Kyle. I kind of agree with everything that you said. I just didn't bet anything. I was actually leaning the other way though, as far as like team total. I was looking towards Phoenix team total under without Kevin Durant. I feel like they could struggle to score. OKC has kind of picked it up defensively recently.
And Caruso's back.
Caruso. Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, that's another defender you can throw at Devin Booker outside of Lou Dort. Probably gonna be in the torture chamber. I think Phoenix struggles to score the basketball. And where's their mindset with Kevin Durant potentially being traded within like turning down, like saying he doesn't want to go back. I know you probably seen the report saying he doesn't want to go back to do the reunion with Golden State, like the Heat trying to trade for him. And if you watched the Portland game the other day when Luka got, I had the game on when Luka got officially traded and they found out about it on the bench. It almost looked like Kevin Durant got traded. He was like this can happen. And I don't know. It feels like probably threw the whole team off. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. Phoenix team total under makes sense as well. I don't dislike that. I also like Oklahoma City minus the points. It was weird. I was looking at the on-off splits, and actually, it's the Suns' defense that takes a huge hit without Durant, like a huge hit. I was just looking at a 10-game sample though. So let's move on to the next game. Last game up. So the Kings just made a trade. Look, you guys know my thoughts on the Magic right now. Until they show me something, I'm going to handicap them as one of the worst teams in the NBA because that's what they are on paper right now. This team cannot score points. I don't know if they need Jalen Suggs back. I honestly don't know what the remedy is. I thought getting Goga back would help. Didn't. They suck. Thought getting Franz Wagner back would help. Nope, still suck. This team is just so bad right now. They can't score any points. They do have a decent defense, but when your offense doesn't do shit, even your defense starts to look bad. It's all relative. So the Magic are trash across the board. The Warriors tried to give them a game. And this is coming from somebody that had bet Golden State and was watching the game rooting for Golden State. They were trying to lose. And Orlando is just too bad that Golden State couldn't even lose the game on purpose. So it would only be the Kings here. I mean, you got Levine being thrown in here, but obviously he's got some chemistry with DeRozan. It's not like they've never played together before. I doubt the offense is going to be super fluent, but it's tough to lay this kind of a number with a new piece being thrown in with Levine, a Kings team whose defense has been awful, but Orlando is that bad that I'm still like, probably Kings or pass. That's how bad Orlando's been. So Kings or pass here. I'm not betting it.
Somebody asked in the comments earlier why I wouldn't take the Walker Kessler at plus 110. That's just strictly due to the fact that the Warriors are really good at collapsing in the paint and at the rim, and that's just all Walker Kessler does. So I just prefer...
Are you talking about double-double?
Yeah. So I'm just isolating the Walker Kessler rebounding rather than the points angle there.
I agree with that. The Warriors allow the fewest points in the restricted area and the most points in the non-restricted area. It's exactly what Prabir said.
B. Felly likes Saboner under 40.5 PRA.
That's my kind of nickname for a guy.
I know. Well, you know that, but in this game, I'm going with DeMar DeRozan over 3.5 assists. I like this one quite a bit. We saw last game, we didn't really know who's going to pick up the assist with De'Aaron Fox off the court. Was it going to be Domantas Sabonis? Was it going to be Malik Monk? But I thought it was going to be DeMar DeRozan who's going to benefit the most in terms of the betting standpoint, in terms of the assist. I mean, he was just slumping so bad in terms of his normal production going back to his days with the Bulls. And now I really think it's going to be him that's kind of the focal point of this offense, at least in the early goings of the Levine days, because we have to get Levine settled into this offense. And while Monk, it's a bonus, obviously, I've never played with him, DeRozan already has a ton of chemistry with him from the Chicago Bulls days. Also, in the last 3 games without Fox, DeRozan 3-0 to the over. He's averaging 7 assists per game on 11 potential assists with 8+ in each of those. You look at potential assists, DeRozan 13-2 to the over this season overall, averaging 5 assists per game. And with just a minuscule 5 potential assists at home this season, the guy's over his last 12 of 14 games, averaging 5 assists per game. He has excellent history against Orlando. He's cleared the last 4 or 5 meetings, and last 9 to 12 small forwards to face Orlando have cleared their assist line. So I just had to lock this one in. You get it at plus 100, I believe, on FanDuel. I think if anybody's going to be the one to get LaVine situated in this offense, it's going to be his old teammate in DeRozan. So with the Fox gone, with LaVine in, I think this is the perfect play here at plus 100.
Moda, you've been on the heater recently?
I wouldn't say heater. I'm up like 4 units in the month of February, which is not bad, but I wouldn't.
It's only been 4 days. That's great. So Modai's on a heater. And see, Prop Beaver, he's okay with me saying that.
You know what I saw? Just shut the hell up. All right.
Modai, do you agree with DeRozan assists?
I love that look. I was on DeRozan last game, the game, like the first game without Fox, and I mean I didn't think he was going to get 11 or whatever he got, or seven on 9 potentials. So yeah, no, I love that look. I just didn't want to go back to it because after that conversion rate scared me off. I actually like DeRozan for his rebounds in this game. It's another one that I didn't officially bet. He's had 8 rebound chances in every game that he's played without De'Aaron Fox, except for one game where they don't have rebound chances. They just didn't list it. I don't know what the deal is. So in 3 games, he's had at least 8 rebound chances. And if you just look at games this year where he's had 8 rebound chances, he's gone over 3.5, which is what his number is in 15 of 22 games, 68% hit rate. And the Magic are they're like I can't really tell you why for basketball reasons, but they're a forward rebound team. 12 of the last 15 players with the same rebounding style as DeMar have hit their over. I've been on it a lot recently. Like RJ Barrett had 8 rebounds against them. Christian Brown had 11. Josh Hart rebounds against everybody, but he had 14. They're a forward rebound team. Can't tell you why for basketball reasons, but that's just what the data tells me. So DeMar over 3.5 rebounds, I think makes a lot of sense. It's minus 110 at DraftKings, minus 115 everywhere else.
So I just want to reply to Shasta Bareface. No, I actually didn't get the plus 100 on DeRozan. I got it minus 120 in the morning. Then the best available price for you guys was plus 100 on DK when I was making the graphics about an hour ago. So I don't know what the best current price is, Shasta, but I would take that up to about minus 130. I think that should be a full assist higher, quite frankly.
All right, Chris, I was supposed to be on a call 7 minutes ago, so rapid fire. What do you like in this last one?
Nothing.
There we go.
really quick. Yeah. The problem, Cal, real quick. Problem with wanting to take Sacramento, because you mentioned Orlando is a complete fade. Problem with taking Orlando is Sacramento first game back home after a 6-game road trip. That's like the longest road trip you're going to play in the NBA. And they're also coming off a win against Minnesota, but I'm not touching Orlando. So, yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. No time for a community parlay. I was supposed to be on a call at 5. I thought we would get through that faster. Make sure you check out these guys' YouTube channels. Chris B. Captain with 2 N's. His show's in the morning. Modai posts also in the morning. He posts uploads, not a live stream. Make sure you show these guys some support. Appreciate you taking the time to come on. Gentlemen, talk to you later tonight.